Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a little review on a game called Jusant. Jusant was developed by Don't Nod and released on the Xbox Series X, PS5, and PC on October 31st, 2023. This game first came to my attention during the Xbox showcase in June of this year. What I gathered from the trailer is that this game was going to be an epic adventure that centered around climbing mechanics. So let's go ahead and break it on down now. The good. What does this game do well? This relaxing ascent has varied environments, some cool moments scattered throughout, and decent climbing mechanics. First and foremost, it's a fun little relaxing jaunt up a mountain. Other than the occasional environmental gimmick that might set you back a few feet, the game doesn't really put you under any pressure. There's no time limit to climb the mountain, and there's no significant external force that puts you under duress. The settings are varied, and the environmental effects have an impact on your climb. For example, the heat from the glaring sun will cause some of your handholds to dissipate. There's also little creatures called pebbles that are pretty much like hermit crabs, making their way across the face of the mountain, and you use them as handholds to ascend. The climbing mechanics themselves are probably the best in the industry so far. Using an advanced system of anchors and belays, you climb, swing, and clamber your way up cliff sides, caves, and strange coral-like creatures. While there is a very heavy emphasis on climbing and climbing mechanics in this game, there are cool little moments of exploration outside of climbing. There are caves and caverns that harbor wondrous things. There are also remnants of human settlements and echoes of the past strewn about the mountain. These echoes come in the form of seashells that you can find scattered about. They don't really present a narrative with any words, but rather ambient sounds and atmosphere. In addition, there are a few standout moments, walkout moments that are super impressive and leave you filled with wonder. Despite the few impressive moments scattered throughout, and the pretty decent climbing mechanics, it felt like there was something missing during my playthrough. So let's go over the bad. There's environmental clipping, the game is really short, and it feels empty. Not just empty, I would say empty and hollow. The main character is a certified badass, and she puts all the American Ninja Warriors to shame. She starts clipping through the environment as soon as you start getting a good rhythm going. Now, I have read complaints about the lack of response and controls. And a lot of people defend it, saying that it's natural not to be able to climb so fast. I never had any issues with the climbing itself. I was able to make the character climb at a very high rate, but like I said before, whenever she would do so, she would start clipping through environmental objects like rocks and the coral objects. Rather, the latency I experienced with input was when she was reaching for a handhold at a standstill or trying to crest that final part of the cliff. The unintentional glitches and flaws I experienced were mostly cosmetic in nature, like the environmental clipping or the camera not functioning right while traveling through a narrow crevasse. These visual glitches weren't necessarily game-breaking, but they were a bit jarring and they did break immersion a little bit. Check out Blinky over here. Blink, blink. It just felt like the game wasn't quite polished well enough for a release. Maybe a few weeks or a couple months longer in the oven would have done the game a little bit better. Now let's talk about the ugly. These are the fundamental design aspects that I found to be flawed, such as hard barriers that limited exploration, unresponsive controls, and a lot of jank. Now, for a game that's so focused on exploration through climbing, there were far too many hard barriers, and the responses to these hard barriers were game-breaking, they were jarring, they were straight up ugly. I know earlier I said I didn't have any controller response issues while climbing. Rather, those came in when I came across these hard barriers, and when the character wasn't actually climbing but rather walking on the ground. Anytime that you made a sudden directional change while walking, the character would stop in her tracks and not move for a few seconds. The issue you're seeing right now isn't that, but rather the character refusing to grab onto the beam right in front of her face. Some might say that, yeah, it makes sense not to be able to climb stuff that's not designed to be climbed. that doesn't look like should be climbed, like a smooth surface. But there are issues deeper than that, where you come across an area that looks like it's very climbable, or even able to walk across, but those hard barriers prevent you from doing anything relevant. My problem with the limited approach this game takes is that it goes against the fundamentals of climbing. Climbing in real life is about going off the beaten path. It's about trying the impossible. It's about forging your own route up a mountain. And this just limits that freedom. It's saying, here's a linear path that you have to take. There's no alternate route, and it's just disappointing. It makes it feel hollow and empty. But hey, some people might like that. So without further ado, let's go into the summary. Basically, this game is a nice, relaxing climb up a mountain. It takes about 4 to 6 hours to complete. It's a relaxing time, no pressure, no duress, maybe a few conveniently placed windstorms to get you up the mountain, but other than that, it's a decent game. Most of the minor complaints I had about this game, like the visual bugs, can be, and probably have been, fixed by patches. So factoring in all aspects that we covered, the good, the bad, and the ugly, I would give this game an objective score of 6 and a subjective score of 4. I played this game on Game Pass, and personally, I think that's the best route to take. I have no plans to revisit this game, and I don't think it's worth the $30 that they're charging. That being said, there are a lot of people that have enjoyed and will enjoy this game immensely. The quaint, beautiful world and the excellent, relaxing climbing mechanics make an awesome game. Thanks for taking the time to watch this. Hope you guys enjoyed it.